This observation like Damon system is very rewarding. But remember this. In order to get the rewards of the Damon system or Ultima, you need to be very precise. Very precise in terms of torque selection and breath placing. This system will give you different outcome if you pick the right torque, if you put the brackets in the right position. Let's go back to some of the multidisciplinary cases. If this is your case on Saturday, this is a boy, his age is 14 years old, and he presented with that panoramic X-ray. What's your treatment plan for such case? Do we need to interfere? So again, timing. By the way, this case was referred to me by a surgeon. That surgeon decided that that child will go under GA to do invasive surgery to extract the ankylosed primary molars. And the patient came to me with the admission letter to the hospital, and that surgeon asked me, whether we need your help just to bond these impacted 5. You see that the 5 in the upper arch, they are just below the signs. They have horizontal impaction. So we need you with us in the theater to bond these impacted 5. This is the way the surgeons they are thinking. Do you think that I accepted that plan? No. I believe that the human body has its own orthodontic system. Maybe it has its own hospital. Maybe it has its own pharmaceutical antibodies or analgesics. So I asked the surgeon to do only extraction of primary molars. And I took that X-ray after 1 month of extraction. And I did nothing. Please remember, what's the space between upper right 4 and 6? What's the space? 0. I did nothing. His age is still 14. I'm not going to treat him. Even he has impacted teeth. I asked him to come after 1 year. So this is the same patient after 1 year. I did nothing. Just observation. So always, time with observation will help you and will help the patient. So I feel that things are improving. Then ask him to come at my optimum age, 16. So he came back at the age of 16. What do you see? So sometimes you need to keep your hands away from the patient. Don't rush or bond any case. Okay? And what's the space now between tooth number 4 and 6? These impacted teeth create space, and these are the intraoral photos for the same patient. So we have that both sides erupted without doing anything. So you need to take records, you need to keep your patients under observation. So why not to start? We know now we know the philosophy. We know how to apply very low force limit. We know where to put our brackets. We know how to hit our torques. So why not to treat some cases? To start with the class 1 with the crowding. The idea of the system is, by the way, crowding is your friend. I like crowding. Okay? Because we use that anterior crowding to give us wide spine. So if your patient has normal lip seal with normal swallowing, your anterior crowding will be transformed to posterior alveolar. And if you are doing conventional brackets, because of the elastic ligation, the wire is not free to slide distally. So one of the unwanted forces is the anterior victory force, so you will have coagulation. On the other hand, if you are having passive ligation with lip seal and normal swallowing, you will not have coagulation. But again, you need to make sure that your patient has normal lip seal and nasal breathing. These are the X-rays for the same patient. So even we have high T9, this is his lateral side. So we control the upper incisors because of the throat control and something we call it lip bumper effect. Do you remember the lip bumper device? It's the same concept. So keep the lips sealed, and the force of the upper and lower lips almost 700 grams. So if your patient has lip seal, that amount of force, because what you are applying in terms of initial wear is very low force, so the lips will adapt the teeth without any complication. Two, as we have said, we need to have good habits. Lip seal, nasal breathing. You remember Salah case? We did nothing. Just we instructed him how to do nasal breathing, lip seal, and all of that changed his profile without traces. And finally, we need to study the arch perimeter, and this is a good topic for research. When we evaluate crowding, we are evaluating the crowding depending on the crown. But if you take 60 for the same patient, this is the level of the crowns. Still, you see the crowding. But if you go more apical, in the middle of the roots, in most of the cases, you didn't see crowding. So most of the crowding that you will see is about lingual tip. So once you apply the premolar and canines, you can get rid of any crowding. And if you check the percentages, 80% of your cases, most of the roots, they are aligned inside the root. That's why we call it ground wear or glottis. And the challenge is only with the 20%. That's why you need variable force. The good thing with crowded cases, they will support the midface. You remember this slide? So in crowded cases, that anterior crowding will support the midface. So it's a plus. It's not something bad. It's good for you and your patient. Even it's good for oxygenation. So you remember the top selection with class 1 of the crowding. You know now how to get your talk. You had that slide before, so this is only repetition. So we want to use these talks to treat our patients. And we'll have 2 patients before our last session. So this is again Farah. She has severe crowding. She has upper right canine and bilaterally erupted upper left canine. And the upper left 4 is out of the arch. If you check here, airways, and we need to evaluate the airways. You can see the adenoids. So she has narrow airways. So one of the things that I need to ask Farah, I need from you to visit a allergy specialist to read the airways, not ENT. No need to do surgeries for the large adenoids. And I teach her to do lip seal. Most of your bimaxillary protrusion cases, they have hidden tongue thrust. They have the tongue thrust, but you don't see it because the bone is mature, solid. Once you put your orthodontic force, you will see the tongue effect. These are the intraoral photos for Farah, if you remember from this morning. So, the 2 reasons for extraction orthodontics, I mean severe crowding for the class 2, they are in one case. Even if she doesn't have crowding, you may extract the upper force because of the class 2, and because of the crowding without the class 2, you may need extraction. So the 2 reasons for extraction, they are in one case. But again, why not use what we have talked about, I mean lip seal, nasal breathing, low force level, and to have the torque with us to prevent proclination. And if you check the upper left 4, it is out of the arch, even it's lining the mucosa. So the gum condition is not that much. So this is the day of bonding, and I need now your help. If this is your case, are you going to correct anything in the top selection? There's something wrong in the top selection for me. What's wrong? Push 2. If you want to change any of these talks, what you are going to change? Please. Push 2? Yeah, you mean the central is a standard. We need to shift it to retroflying curve. No, the lowers they are good. Okay. So only the two centers they should be retroflying curve. And when I answer the questions, what are the torques in terms of individual teeth, or are they standard? I will give the torque at the bonding session, then I can fix the torque later on during the detailing session. So you see that even this is the bonding session, I change the torque in the center to be refined torque later on. So this is the day of bonding, and let's talk about stoppers. So for the lower arch, I need only one stopper. So I will put it in the most straightened part of the wire. And in most of my cases, I like to put it between lower right, center, and lateral. So always I can differentiate the right side of the wire from the left side of the wire. And for the upper arch, you need two stoppers. These are distal to the most straightened two, or maybe you can put them distal to central, distal to lateral, depending on your case. So we are creating space now for the upper lines. I didn't want the upper left four. I don't want to include all feet. We need to wait. Then in her next visit, I wanted the upper left four using only button, very low force level. And for the open coil spring, remember the following. Don't put too much force when you insert your open coil spring. Its activation shouldn't exceed half the bracket width. Now it's time to include the upper right canine. It's high, but because the force level is very low, remember, think as assist, you'll have that canine with its form with time. Still, we are creating space for the upper left canine. And remember, she had 10 thrust. That's why these stations, they will give you some spacing in the bottom teeth, not because of your robotic force, because of hidden 10 thrust. That's why you need to keep 10 tables in your practice. You will need them. We added 10 tables to control the tongue. Still, we have the effect of the 10 thrust. Now we are controlling the 10 thrust. And I changed the torque now for the centers. You remember they were neutral, then I wanted them with retroflying torque. I did a position for the upper left lateral. We are in the finishing stage, finishing wires. I did another repositioning for header finishing. We are about to finish head case, and we are done in 18 months. So we had the teeth with their bone inside the right position. All of that because of torque selection and the right effect placement. Sometimes you need to wait the soft tissue remodeling. Don't do soft tissue for the palatal side. Just wait. It will resolve by itself. And in class 2, this pattern, I call it anterior triangle class 2, elastic, will settle your part and will correct the class 2. I used to finish my cases using finishing aligners. Remember the upper left four, very minimal force, very minimal force. Don't put too much force. This is 14 carbon titanium. Still, we are in the 14 carbon titanium. I bonded the upper left four, then we are creating space now for the upper left canine. I will need some class 2 elastics because of the class 2 molar and canine. I put it button on the canine. Then I'm going in the procline toe. Still we are in the flexible wears. Now we did the battery position, some class 2 elastics. And now we are in class 1. I finish hand case using in-office finishing alignment. For the cruiser review, if you check the open coil springs, they are very light, activated open coil springs. You can imagine the position of the root of the upper left lateral and canine. One of them is radial and the other one is bilateral. But if you are using variable torques, you are not happy now for the upper left lateral and canine. Because still, we didn't finish the torque expression. But if you follow the left side, here, finally it's working. If you follow the torque expression for the upper left lateral and canine, while you are increasing the size of the wire, now we are expressing the right torque. And we are done. Again, I was not happy about the finished result 100%, but always 7 will help me to have the right arch form. And if I need more finishing, I will fabricate in-office finishing aligners. For example, to rotate the upper left canine and to do more different finish for my anti-signaling. And I need only 3 aligners to do that. For the lower arch, always the lower arch is fine in most of your cases, so you don't need to invest too much. But the most important thing is the bend thrust. So if you deal with any case and you have a spacing or proclination, maybe the patient has incomplete depth or anterior thrust. So you need tangent. So we added tangent to control the front. And I need from you to follow the inclination of lower incisors. What was the torque for lower incisors? Retrocline torque. After that, IBR, you can see with me the phase of IBR. See what will happen now? So this is what will happen. Again, retrocline torque with IBR will give you retroclination. So you can prevent any proclination of your upper or lower incisors. And again, I finish that case with finishing aligners to rotate the canines and to have more retraction of my lower incisors. If you check the overjet, during the trip, if you have proclination, you will not like it, I mean the proclination, but gradually you are expressing the toe with IPR. So we are controlling the upper and lower incisors to have them finally in the right position. So this is before and after. All of that should be reflected on the profile and the airways. So the airways now, they are clear, they are open. And for the profile, I like to have some lip support, especially at that age. Remember, she was 13 years old. We did the case and she was almost 15, so you will have more of the face maturation later on. And for the smile, we controlled her smile and we created, we preserved the smile arch because we had the right placement. We put the brackets at 5.5. So, avoid extraction. The last case is repeat, you remember her. Again, she has again crowding. She has no smile, and she has hazy sinuses. And again, 2 reasons for extraction they are there. The severe crowding and the class 2. And if you check the anterior segment, the roots of the laterals they are bilateral, and that space is only for laterals or canines. no way to have the both teeth together. But again, we believe in more modeling, art development. So this is the way of bonding. I did one mistake. What was the mistake? You know now. There is a flying curve of upper two centers. And maybe the upper canines. The upper canines were buccal displaced. So I think that if I put neutral torque, maybe it's enough. But I can correct that during the boundary position. So we bought the hair case, and I included the canines first. I want to have them in the arch. Then later on, I'm creating space for the upper laterals. And if you are not happy about the practice, if you can bond only pattern, then later on I did soft tissue contouring and I bonded the laterals with electrifying. Remember, the roots of the laterals, they were palatal. So you can see the void of bond between the canine and the center. This is our first ultima wire, and this is your second ultima wire. Now it's time to do repositioning. So I will take smile photograph, this here smiling photograph in the boundary position. Then I'll combine that with panoramic X-ray. So if you have the panoramic X-ray with the smiling photograph, you know that you need to do repositioning for the upper two centers. What's more, if you check the canines, they were buccal displaced, but because of the effect of the plastoelastics, they are now lingually tilted. That's why what I did, I fixed my mistake so the two centers they are now retroclined, and the canines I put them with procline toe. I put them with procline toe to have a wider smile. So you need to review your torque selection in the boundary position. And you need to invest, some money. You need to buy more brackets, okay, to fix these issues. Anyway, this is the session of the boundary. Now we are in the special wire with the IPR. I'm in the finishing stage. And we finished her case. And as you see with me, this is the shadow of the root of the upper left central and upper right central. They were balanced. So, retrocline torque can move the roots from the palatal side to the radial side. Big amount of space, but variable torque can help you. This is the right factor view. This is the session in the parallel position, so I changed the torque. Also, I was not happy about the root parallelism for lower right canine and core, so I did a revision for them. For me, parallel view is the art of finishing. You need to do repositioning for all of your cases. We are now in the finishing sexy wires, and I'm using a good brand class 2 elastic to system the pipe. So from class 2 maloclusion to class 1 without extraction, and we had the laterals in their place without any compromised aesthetics. The same on the left side. And for the vertical view, while we are creating space for the crowded arch, we are doing arch development. So this will change the arch form for upper arch. And I like this view, by the way, this one. So this is before torque expression. And this is after torque expression. For after. So we are doing gradual torque expression to control our upper and lower incisors. And again, sevens, they are the best cornerstone for you to provide you with upper arch. So sevens, they are essential in bonding. That's why I will not start the repeating before the action of sevens. And of course, I needed some finishing alignment to the upper arch to get more recognition of upper incisors. For the lower arch, again, lower arch in most of your cases, it's easy one, not complicated. Most of your problems, they are in the upper arch, and most of the problems is about arch development. Also, she has hidden tendons, that's why we added 10 cables, you see them now. Of course, I will remove the 10 cables before the bonding to make sure that my patient, she has the normal swallowing. We bonded our lower flexor retainer, and this is the progress of the overjet, and we prevented any compilation because of the torque expression of the retrofine. So this is a repeat before and after. I need from all of you to follow this octavity, right? Before and after. Before and after. You feel that you are doing remodeling of a clay, and this is the bone, by the way. It's soft if you apply very low force to it. Because we didn't extract, and the crowding will support the midface. You can see with me that we supported the midface. And she had the class 2 because of the anterior crowding. So once you relieve the crowding in the upper arch and you are developing, the mandible will be more than heavy to fit in class 1. That's why you see with me that she has now jawline with the chin projection. So you enhance the face by avoiding the extraction and doing out development. And for the smile, she's not the same person. I'm planning to do soft tissue contouring after the age of 16 with whitening later on for her. She's so happy. And her parents, they told me that she stopped snoring. Almost it's 5. And by this we covered class 1 with crowding. Tomorrow, it's not easy mission for you because we need to cover class 2, class 3, bimax, open bite, gummy smile, and facial asymmetry. So we have a lot of clinical cases, but we are going to apply the same principles. So I need from all of you to take good rest tonight to be ready for the material for tomorrow. So with this, we are ready now for a very special, let's say, section by Maggie and Damon. Okay, so they have a promotion session. Okay, Maggie, did you see the slide? So, be ready for Maggie and Dane's session. They are preparing something special for you. Okay? And thank you so much. See you tomorrow.